Okay, and your question is, how do I stop working?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because 95% of your income is because of you.
Yeah. 95% of my income comes from my manual labour. Yeah. So that's everything I'm putting in, I'm getting out of it.
Yep.
So
And for everyone in the room, what do you do?
I'm an auto sparky, contract to the mines.
And what do you do?
So specialise in excavators.
Okay.
Maintenance.
Maintenance. Yep. What else? Is it just pure maintenance?
Yeah, just pure maintenance.
Okay, and your question is, how do I stop working?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because 95% of your income is because of you.
Yeah.
Okay, in the last 12 months, what was your revenue?
368.
Okay, and what was your profit?
It was 80,000.
80,000. Okay. And if you were to look at every single bit of work you do throughout the day in maintenance, what is it that you could outsource? Or who could you hire to then replace 20% of what you do?
Yeah, no, it'd have to be a full-time employee.
So it'd have to be a full-time employee. And how much would a full-time employee cost you?
170 a year.
170?
Yep.
Okay, so we're negative 90K from your profit, right? So in a 12-month period, how would you be able to affect $90,000 more in your business for where you're currently at?
So how would I come up with 90?
Yes.
Just through myself?
Yes. Answer is you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
So what do you have to do?
Yeah, employ staff.
And why would you not want to?
Well, it's just the setup. It's obviously the skill shortage.
Yep.
Hard to find employee,
Yep.
employee to trust, and then obviously setting up a ute.
Okay, so there's a lot there. So
Yep.
there's a skilled shortage, there's a labour shortage in
Yep.
Australia.
Yep.
Then there's how to trust them.
Yep.
And then there's what was the last?
Set up a work vehicle.
Set up the work vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah. How are you currently marketing and recruiting for staff?
0. Yep.
Okay, well that's why you can't find anyone.
Word of mouth. Yeah, word of mouth.
Yep. Whereabouts are you based?
Mackay.
Mackay.
Yep.
Okay. So for me, if I was in your position, you don't need the full 170.
Yep.
You just need to be able to employ someone to be able to get them to work for the first month.
Yep.
You need to get them in, so you need to then induct them in. You need to then train them. You need to then observe them, and then you need to then assess them. And if they stay, they stay. If they don't, they leave, and then you recycle through again. The hard part for you as an owner, who else is an owner-operator? Yeah. The hard part for you is to be able to relinquish the fear of letting go of control. Because if you don't let go of the control, you then stagnate your business and you cannot grow past what you're physically capable of doing. But some people let go of control too quick without it being systemized and documented. And then we have elements of what happened with Jake, where a lot of his time was then having to rectify a lot of the admin issues because we didn't document the process for what the admin had to follow. But then when we did and we began to do so, then the elements of accountability was not in place. So then even though we had the training there, we had the SOPs there of what had to happen, then she wasn't following through with it, which was then causing more errors for us to then deal with. More headaches for Jake, new belief, don't employ because they'll just cause more problems. I'll just do it all myself. I'll stay stuck at $1.5 million.
Burnout.
And burn out. So for an element like yours, there's a few things that you can do. The first one, I'd be looking for offshore workers. I'd be organising with an RTO to partner up with, and then I would then be organising to have interstate travellers to Mackay who want a hotter lifestyle, aka Melbourne, and then I'd be then offering a contract for them to come up and to relocate and have a package where you can help them relocate and find a place to live. But the offshore experience guys need onshore experience to be RPL'd in Australia to be qualified for the trade that they have overseas. So you could look to then market for international sparkies. But if you're not recruiting at all, if you're not hiring your marketing out whatsoever, no one knows you exist.
Yep.
So brand is number one. You need to have a brand. You need to be present online digitally. If no one knows you exist, how can anyone help you with your company? But you're, at the moment, 368 rev, 80K profit. Technically, really, if you were to make sure that your minimum viable cost per week was handled, that you'd survive and you had whatever you had left over with profit, then technically you could have a staff member for 6 months. Or you could rotate through staff every 6 months or 3 to 6 months. So you just need to get your recruitment ads up. You need to start marketing out there that you are hiring. And Mackay, small place. Anywhere north of Queensland, small place.
Do you have like social media?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about brand.
Yeah.
You need to be physically online, with a presence online, so people want to work with you. What would be the biggest difference between a company who has no presence and a company that has presence, but they're the same identical company? Who would you want to work for? The people you see. Why? Looks like they're...
They actually can see before they call you what your business is like, what you do. It's exciting, and they be like, that's somewhere I want to work. They
Correct.
put time and effort into it.
Yeah. If you look at the content that Jake's been putting out for his roof tiling business, it looks fun. It looks like a group of young guys on roofs doing cool shit. And the growth of the business is going absolutely berserk because he's been more active and more consistent than most tradies do. And he's positioned in a really good way with the other contracts he's got in place and a few other things. But what I'm saying is that your messaging online needs to exist. You need to be seen. Your fear of being seen, like we did yesterday, is the exact same thing that businesses do with their brands online. People do not want people to see their company online because most people don't know how to use social media. Most people don't know how to post a video. Most people don't invest in their company like I do with proper filming, proper actual companies that do this for their own job, that take over my content creation. Because if I try to film this stuff, there's no way. There's no way to be able to do it. I'd botch it, it'd look crap. But guess what? I started there. I started doing my own content first, which is where you guys need to start. But for your case, Will, if you gave me $80,000 to work on building your business, the first thing I would do was I'd get your brand digitally recognized. I'd build a website, I would get content out there, I'd get a brand photo shoot done for you so people know who you are, and then a brand story. I'd then want to post it online and run traffic to that website in the local area in Mackay and around Townsville, around that North Queensland area. Then I'd go Melbourne or anything down south, and then I'd then go organic and not paid, and I would discuss with RTOs who have contacts overseas for offshore experienced tradies who need to be RPL'd into Australia. And then I'd be continuous in posting content and value on what I do for my work, so then people start to recognise who you are, and then I'd start using some of the profit for me to start actually recruiting people in to then work under me as a offsider for you. That's what I'd be doing. Because look, 80K profit, if you were to just buy into a little bit of that staff member who'd be 170 would change like everything in your business. Because you can't work on your sales, you can't work on big contracts, you can't go to meetings, you can't do anything on the business because you're in it, right? You're the same, yeah? Yeah. There's a time of temporary discomfort where it sucks, and you'll go like into. I saw one of my mentors share this with me before, and he talks about how you'll start to grow the business, and then you have to invest, and then it feels like a really shit bit, and then you'll grow up again, and then there'll be like another part, and he talks about it where this element here, this here is the shit bit. And they're all pits. But the difference between what a pit is when it's a artificial pit and when it's a pit that you have then just found yourself in is a shit pit would be, an artificial pit would be when you deliberately reinvest into the business. A pit would be when 3 staff members are sick or they break a leg, or then COVID hits and we have another lockdown, and then you're then losing more money than you are making money. The difference between the two is that one's in your control and one hasn't. For where you're about to hit is you're going to go into a pit because you have to reinvest into the business. So your revenue is not going to be as high as what it used to be, but for a short period of time, you have to go through that pit first. You have to, because on the other end is where you want to be, but you can't get there if you're doing it alone. Does that make sense?
You just got to strap in.
Yep. Lock in tight.
It's not fun.
Make sure you have the right people around you, and go for it.